Shalom. All praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Double liners to the apostles GMS. This is Anwar Allah coming at you another video. And in this video, I want to be focusing on the book of 1 Timothy chapter 4 verse 1. Now, see, the scripture says, "Now the Spirit speaketh expressly." Let's look at that word expressly.
Strong's G 4490, Chretos.
Chretos. Expressly and express words in stated terms specified. So basically what it's saying is that the Spirit speaketh openly. So now the Spirit speaketh expressly or openly, right? Clearly. That in the latter times, some shall depart from the faith. And that's true. We're in the latter times now. Latter meaning ending or end. We are in the latter times. And it says some shall depart from the faith. And that's true. You know, you got guys that that's falling out the camps left and right. Guys that's playing around. Guys that got 1,000 excuses. You know, guys not doing lessons. Guys that's basically just coming to camp. Waiting for they just basically in the camp until they close. You got guys that's like that. You know, and being around as long as I've been around, you know, which has been, you know, quite some time. You know, through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, I'm still in it, but I've seen many guys who fell out, who left. Guys who was in the camp when you came in the camp. You know, a guy probably came in the camp a year before you, a couple months later, a year later, and then they're just gone. And you start to see it. You see it in them. You know, they're coming out the camp later and later. They start doing less and less shows. When they speak, you can read their spirit and tell they're not really into it. You know, not really paying attention. You could just look and you could just tell. You know, when you see that happening, you know, you pray for the brother, you know, that the Most High build his spirit. But at the same time, you never know what the result gonna be. You know, you may not want to say nothing to that brother, to that man, because you don't know, you know, he might take offense to it. But you know, you put up prayers. You know? But when these things happen, in my personal experience, these guys just fell out and that just never came back. They just fell out and disappeared. They never came back to who they once were. So it says in it right here, in the blue letter, it has the word apostasy here. What does that word apostasy mean? Let's see what the word apostasy means. Let me see real quick. Apostasy. The abandonment or renunciation of a religious or political belief. So there you go. Oh, that's from Oxford Languages. And yes, Oxford Languages. And when you scroll down, when you look down, it's right there. It says Merriam-Webster apostasy. The meaning of apostasy is an act of refusing to continue to follow, obey, or recognize a religious faith. Which we don't deal with religion. This is just the Bible, laws, statutes, and commandments. We deal with the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua through the understanding of His word, the Bible. So when it says apostasy is an act of refusing to continue to follow, obey, or recognize a religious faith. In this sense, it's refusing to continue to follow, obey, or recognize a spiritual faith, or the abandonment or renunciation of a spiritual belief. You know, you got guys that's like that. It happens, man. It happens. And, you know, if the Apostle Paul was saying that 2,000 years ago, how much more now? How much more now? 1 Timothy 4:1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly, that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. Now, what's a seducing spirit? A seducing spirit is a spirit that seduces you. It allures you. it draws you in. So that spirit is seducing you or alluring you or drawing you in to another doctrine, to another belief. And that's what happens. Guys might fall out and they go back to the church, or they'll become Muslim. I know a guy that came out to the camp, years ago. He from my dude, Puerto Rican. And he was coming out, every now and then. I was even around the guy sometimes in the world because a brother in the camp had knew him. And this is when I was looking for, this is years ago. This is over 10 years ago, I would have to say. And, or just about 10 years ago. And I don't think I was working at that particular point in time. And, the brother in the camp, knew him from like high school or from work, as a matter of fact. So like, oh well, so and so. And I seen him around the brother. The brother was telling him about the truth. The brother Karat Zakba. He was telling him about the truth. And I just see them in the neighborhood every now and then. And then I guess the guy was telling him for like a year or so. The brother was telling him for like a year or so. And one day, maybe even more. And one day, I guess Karat Zakba told him, yo, I was looking for a job. So he said, oh, all right, cool. You can work with me. I do this, that, and third. Boom, boom. I be driving around. I be picking up stuff, and I be moving stuff around and putting his head in there and all of that. So I was just riding around with him throughout the day. Like the boss would send him to go get something, and then he was like, yo, Ayo, come with me. He was like, Ayo, come with me. And then I'd probably be driving around with him for an hour and a half, 2 hours or whatever. He was a cool dude. Probably stop at the store, because he's a cool guy. And then he used to come out to the camp, listen. And this was known for probably about 2 years, probably. And then one day, I asked about him, and bro was like, oh, he's Muslim now. I was like, wow. He's like, yeah, man, he feel like this is the Islam is the truth and all of that. I was like, yeah, well, my brother told me, I was like, hey, well, it is what it is. I've seen the guy one time, but the time when I seen him, I don't think that I knew that he wasn't, I'm not sure if he was still calling himself a believer or not at that time. This was probably maybe 6 years ago or 5 years ago. Maybe about 6, when the last time I seen him. And I think I asked the brother about 4 years ago about the guy. 3 or 4 years ago. So when I had worked with the guy, it was about 10 years ago or close to it. The last time I seen him was probably about 5 or 6 years. And when I spoke to the brother and asked about him, it was probably maybe 3 years ago. It is what it is, man. He gave heed to that seducing spirit. And doctrines of devils. A doctrine of a devil was a doctrine of a deceiver. So those doctrines that they lead the truth for, it deceives them in thinking that it's the truth. You got to have a strong spirit on you to fight those seducing spirits. Real quick, look at this. Ephesians 4:14, that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine. Yeah, because a wind can toss you to and fro from one direction to the next. But it's talking about being tossed to and fro with every wind of doctrine. In other words, if you toss to and fro, there's no foundation, there's no stability. And that's what it is like with a child. A child doesn't have a focus as an adult, doesn't have a discipline as an adult. So a child can easily be taken. A child can easily be snared. A child can easily be tricked, beguiled, meaning deceived. So we're not to be no more as children, tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine. So the Apostle Paul is saying this in the book of Ephesians. Then this had to have been going on. You had to have people that was, believing one thing, and now they believe in the Bible now, believing the word in Yahushua now, but at the same time, probably still had some type of doubt and was still, thinking about, other doctrines. So he's saying, listen, man, don't be carried about with any wind of doctrine. Or you could have had people that was coming to the church, rather trying to manipulate them into believing certain things. Because when you first come into this truth, it's not like, oh look, I woke up in the morning, now all of a sudden I believe in Islam now, and I just threw everything away. It don't happen like that. It's a process. So if you find out about the truth, hypothetically speaking, January 1st, but before you found out about that, you were still in the church, You might still be going to church 2 months later, for 2-3 months, until you actually say, man, this is BS, because it's a process of growth, of growth, you know. So you could have had people in Ephesus that was going through something like that, still making their transition to fully being into the truth. Or you could have had people that was around that was trying to draw them into other doctrines. That's why I said, and carried about with everyone a doctrine by the sleight of men. Like a so-called magician, they do things by the sleight of hand. They pull a card from behind your ear, a quarter from behind your ear. But it's really a trick that they did. But it's the sleight or deceit that make you think it's real, but it's really not real how they did it. It's really not what they making it seem to be, making it seem. And that's what these people do. Oh, they come to this doctrine and come to this belief. They're leading you to think that something that is not, to deceive you by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness. Cunning meaning skillfully deceitful. So they're very crafty. They have ways of making you think that it's the truth and it really isn't. You know? Oh yeah, you know, you're gonna God gonna bless you and all that, like the prosperity doctrine. That's all that these churches are about. You know, they go around and tell people, oh yeah, I did this, that, and third, and I got a brand new car. Oh, I did this, that, and third. I woke up and had $50,000 in my account. I remember years ago, before I even came in the truth, my homeboy and his mom's had this church she went to, right? And me and my homeboy went with her one day. It was like we was in there for like 2 hours. And then he was going around calling himself touching people and healing people and all that. I remember my homeboy told me, and his mother said it herself. He was like how his mom was like, the dude was telling people beforehand, you're like, I'm gonna touch your forehead and act like you passed out. Or I'm gonna touch your forehead. I want you to pretend like, you know, your foot was healed and just start jumping up and down. My homeboy and his moms were telling me this, man. My homeboy was telling me and his moms clarified it. You know, because I believe it happened with his sister. She was in there, oh look, our foot is all right now. It's all a joke. And people believe in this, man. By the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, or by the lie and wait to deceive. They lie and wait to deceive you, man. They lie and wait to deceive you. They lie and wait to deceive you by telling you they're going to give you material gain and fame, all of the things that the flesh desires, all of the things that's deemed in high esteem in this world. They come with those promises. But if you know anything about the truth, you're not supposed to be of the world. You know? The world are the things that are hollow, meaning empty, frail, meaning weak, fleeting, meaning here 1 minute, gone the next. So we don't worry about the things of the world, we worry about the things of the spirit, which is our eternal, the kingdom of heaven. And you know what? I'm gonna close right there. You know what? Speaking lies and hypocrisy. That's what they speak. Lies, hypocrisy. Having their conscience seared with the hot iron. Now, if you seared or burn with a hot iron, what happens? Your flesh becomes numb. So if your conscience is seared with a hot iron, you become numb or insensitive to the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shah, because your mind has become corrupted by those false teachings that has you've been allured to, you've been deceived to believe. So now when somebody come out to you with the truth, you can't accept it. The same way they believe in the same way they believe in the truth. The same way they believe in those lies, we believe in the truth. If we are the elect and they can't deceive us into believing them, and they're not part of the elect, then we can't tell them the truth to get them to believe what we're saying. Which these words are not our words, they're the words of Yahweh Shem Shah. So I'm close and say, oh praise Yahweh Shem Shah, the blind see apostle GMS, I hope but Shalom.